Stranger Things actress Sadie Sink has been tapped to star in Spider-Man 4 along with Tom Holland, but Disney has not revealed who she will be playing.
'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side.
Hi everyone, my name is Jacob Berry. Welcome to the StudioJake vidcast where I talk about all things pop culture. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and if you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast and consider becoming a channel member. For those of you unfamiliar with Sadie Sink, she was introduced to play a role in season 2 of Stranger Things. That was the last season of Stranger Things that I have watched. I'm not very big into the show, but she was a good character on the show when I was watching it. I did enjoy her introduction. She was really well placed and she fit in really well with the other main characters. So, no shade on her. I just lost interest after the second season. Who will she be playing in Spider Man 4? There is a lot of speculation on that, and I'm going to read a news article related to this and then give you my own perspective on the possibilities. So, this is according to superherohype.com. New details have emerged regarding who Sadie Sink could be playing in Marvel and Sony's Spider-Man 4. On Wednesday, March 12, 2025, it was announced that Sink, known for starring in Netflix's Stranger Things, had been cast in Spider-Man 4. It was not revealed who Sink will be playing in the movie, with many speculating on who she might be portraying in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The most popular and common theories seem to be X-Men's Jean Grey, Gwen Stacy, or potentially a Mary Jane Watson variant. Jeff Snider's The Insider notes that according to his understanding, Sony's arrangement with Marvel requires the latter to provide each Spider-Man movie with a major MCU character, with Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man appearing in Spider-Man Homecoming, Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury being in Spider-Man Far From Home, and Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange having a role in Spider-Man No Way Home. Sink playing Jean Grey would satisfy that deal point. However, Snyder also noted, when I reached out to a source to ask if Sink was playing Jean, they suggested that having Jean in Spider-Man 4 may require Sony to give Lauren Schuler Donner a producing credit and fee, which Sony would be unlikely to agree to. Donner wasn't mentioned in Deadline's story alongside producers Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal. Should Sink not be playing Jean Grey, a Mary Jane variant, or Gwen Stacy, Snyder had two other possibilities. Could be either Firestar or Felicia Hardy, Black Cat. Firestar is a mutant who first appeared in 1985's Uncanny X-Men number 193. However, her origins are actually tied to Spider-Man, as she was initially created by the NBC animated series Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends before she made her way to Marvel Comics. Black Cat, meanwhile, is a popular Spider-Man character who often serves as a love interest for Peter Parker, who many fans have been waiting to show up in the MCU. Felicia Hardy briefly appeared as a character in Mark Webb's The Amazing Spider-Man 2. There's been no official word or confirmation from Marvel Studios regarding who Sink is playing in Spider-Man 4 at this time. The movie will be released on July 31st, 2026. Now, when I first heard these rumors about who she was going to play, I saw a lot of people panicking. That includes even people that I respect. Now, if she's playing Mary Jane, I hope that she is sort of a 90s interpretation of Mary Jane, not the more modern depiction of her where she can do no wrong. Instead of Mary Jane, she should be named Mary Sue. I hope we get to see her as the more developed, more character-driven persona of Mary Jane from, say, Spider-Man, the animated series, or from the 90s era comic books when Peter Parker and Mary Jane were still married before the awful Brand New Day retcon. Now, as for Gwen Stacy, I don't think she's going to play Gwen Stacy, and the reason being The Amazing Spider-Man pretty much locked down that character with her being Peter Parker's main girlfriend in the first or in those two films. So I don't think that that's going to happen here. As for Jean Grey, I think that is a very big possibility because they just bought 20th Century Fox, which owned the rights to the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. So it is a possibility that she's going to play Jean Grey, a young version of Jean Grey. Now, this is the one that I saw people kind of panicking over. And I'm kind of like, why? Spider-Man has long been connected to the X-Men. He has teamed up with them on numerous occasions and has worked together with them to fight the baddies, mainly because sometimes Spider-Man is mistaken for a mutant because of his powers, but he doesn't have the X gene like the mutants do. So he has teamed up with them on many occasions, and there was even a very epic animated crossover between the 90s X-Men and the 90s Spider-Man animated series where Spider-Man actually does develop a mutation. It turns out to be artificial, but it's enough where it's an X gene, and at first he goes to Professor Xavier seeking a cure, but Professor X is like, I don't cure mutants, I train them, I help them integrate. And so Spider-Man kind of leaves very bitterly, but then Beast gets kidnapped by one of Spidey's enemies, and so he has to team up with Wolverine and eventually the whole X-Men team to fight this big bad who eventually sides with the Kingpin. It's a very interesting arc. It was very well made. All that to say, I know that was a little bit of a tangent, but all that to say, I would be fine if it was Jean Grey because Spider-Man has crossed over with them. Now, is Sync going to play Felicia Hardy? I doubt that because Sony still has the rights to the Spider-Man character, so she wouldn't count as a Marvel Cinematic Universe tie-in like they were saying. The MCU films have to basically be team-up films, so she wouldn't count for that, and I don't think that they're going to do that, especially since Sony has expressed interest with Black Cat working with Silver Sable. Point is, I don't think it's going to be Felicia Hardy for that reason. As for Firestar, I would love to see that. Spider-Man has worked with Firestar. Like they said, she was an original superhero created for Spider-Man and his amazing friends. She made her way over to Marvel Comics, where she did not join the X-Men, but in fact joined the New Warriors for a time. She and her boyfriend, who's a superhero called Justice, also joined the Avengers briefly because they were involved in some sort of Avengers event that happened, and they have worked with Spider-Man. In fact, when Ben Reilly posed as Spider-Man for a while, originally Scarlet Spider, he joined the New Warriors and was part of their lineup. And then an evil version, kind of a cyberpunk version of Scarlet Spider, went on this rampage and framed Scarlet Spider, so that's when Ben Reilly had to become Spider-Man. Before that happened, it was heavily hinted that Ben kind of had a crush on Firestar, not Peter Parker, but Ben Reilly. So that would be interesting to see that materialize. Now, like I said, that was Ben Reilly, that wasn't Peter Parker, so it could work either way. They could just change it where instead of Ben Reilly, it's Peter Parker who has a crush on Firestar. And that would work with the MCU because as far as I know, Disney has the rights to the New Warriors kind of locked down. So potentially we could see that happen. Now, who would I personally like her to play? I would like Sadie Sink to be either Mary Jane or Firestar. I would prefer that. I think it would work. I've heard some YouTubers say she's not right to play Mary Jane because she doesn't have that girl next door type appeal, I guess you could say. I humbly disagree. She's an actress. She could probably portray a girl next door. Granted, I've only seen her in Stranger Things season 2, so I'm not familiar with her range, but I'm willing to give her the benefit of the doubt. And I would like her to play Firestar just because I have a special affinity from the New Warriors, just because they appeared a lot in Spider-Man comics in the late 90s, like I said, due to Ben Reilly having a tie and briefly joining the team. So I would like to see that. I think that would be cool. It would also be neat if they introduced Justice. And so then there could be like this sort of love triangle between Justice and Spider-Man as he works with Firestar. However that plays out, I am looking forward to Spider-Man 4. The first 3 films are good. I'm not saying that they're great, but they are good, and I'm not going to pretend like they're not. I know a lot of people are kind of angry because Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home are tied to the Disney MCU, and the MCU has been a major letdown, and so they want to kind of have some transference things happen where they don't like the Spider-Man movies. I like them. I think that they're good. I think that they're grand. I always have a fun time watching them. And no, Spider-Man No Way Home does not get worse every time you watch it. I'm so sick of hearing YouTubers in particularly say this. Spider-Man No Way Home is an epic Spider-Man film. Is it the best ever? No, that's Spider-Man 2 starring Tobey Maguire, but it is a grand old time. So, Sadie Sink, Welcome to the Spider-Verse. I hope that Marvel and Sony and Disney and Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal make right decisions and also work with you. I'm not crazy about the new director that was tapped to do Spider-Man 4. I would have preferred them to bring back the guy who directed No Way Home, but that's a preference, and I understand that he's probably ready to move on and do bigger things and wider things. But again, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not so hard on Shang-Chi. I thought it was a decent movie. It would fit in that fun film. My problem is it didn't feel like an MCU movie. It felt like a Disney movie. That was my big problem with it. So if this guy learned all the right lessons from Shang-Chi, not saying he did, but if he did, I think Spider-Man 4 will be good. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Maybe that'll be Spider-Man's tie-in character. It'll be Shang-Chi and Spider-Man since they're bringing in the Shang-Chi director. I don't know if that's true, but we'll have to wait and see. Disney has done crazier things. What do you think? Who do you think Sadie Sink is going to play? I'd love to hear your opinion. Let me know in the comment section below. And you might be thinking, Jacob, how come you're not like a huge rage magnet on this issue? That's because even though, yeah, I think the Spider-Man films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe did make a lot of mistakes, they still captured the essence of Spider-Man. Would I have preferred Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy or Liz Allen or Betty Brant to be Spider-Man's girlfriend instead of a new character, Michelle Jones, as MJ? Absolutely, but I still think that they maintained enough of the Spider-Man lore to make them interesting and good and enjoyable films. So that's why I'm not raging about it, and I'm looking forward at least to seeing how Spider-Man 4 plays out. If you like that video, be sure to give it a like, share it out to all your friends, leave me a comment, tell what you think, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast. If you'd like to support the channel, become a channel member or head to my locals community. The link is in the description of the video where you can sign up for a monthly subscription or you can send my articles tips. Be sure to check out my website, StudioJakeMedia.com, where I have even more articles on film, television, anime, comic books, novels, and so much more. Another way you can support me is to check out my novels. I've got 4 of them right here. I've got Cacophony. I've got The Seven Royals, All Good Things, and its sequels, The Seven Royals, Breaking the Stars, and my latest fantasy romance novella, Blessed Child. Get one or all 4 at Amazon.com. Leave me a 5-star review. It really helps out small indie creators like myself. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake. And remember, with great power comes great responsibility.